Alrighty. Hello. It doesn't say like I don't know the YouTube app enough, the live thing. Hello, Aslan. Good to see you. Okay. Hello, hello. Mm-hmm. So Aslan, I was thinking I want to talk about the U.S. economy. So tell me what concerns you most about this country, about just the economic impacts of whatever. And let's see. I want to know if more people are gonna join this live because I made this available to all tiers. So, yeah. Also, someone told me that the Fed said they were going to lower interest rates this month. I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen any. I wasn't looking at the news today. I've been very busy taking care of my kids. But if they said they were going to lower rates, I'm curious as to how much. Also, could you just go onto my Patreon, Arslan, onto the Patreon, and just make sure that link is visible? Hello, hey guys, just let me know. Did you actually see? Well, no, you must have seen the link, duh, because it's unlisted. All right. Oh, you know what I want to do too? Let's see. Trying to figure out what I could do here. Oh, okay, glow, blush, no filter. I like the no filter better. Sorry guys, I'm just setting this up. What can I put here? You just had an accounting. Oh, cool. The FDIC, and you talked to director. Oh, okay. Wait, wait. The FDIC, the director of the FDIC knows who I am. So I talked about the cost of energy, lowering the cost of basically everything. Do I think that can offset markups by tariff? Well, no, because if the like, why would the price of energy go down? You know, why would the price why would the price of oil or anything go down? The price of oil is low right now. Okay, sure. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Well, yeah, we have fracking, we have shale technology, that's right. But listen, the reason why the price of oil is so low right now, is one, there's just a lot of economic pessimism around the world, but two, it's China. Because China's economy still hasn't recovered from COVID, in fact, it's spiraling down. Like the demand for oil all around the world is low because China is the world's factory. So they are one of the largest. Yeah, they are if they are the world's largest oil importer. We are the world's largest oil consumer. They are the world's largest oil importer. And if they are not consuming as much oil as they did when their economy is healthy, then all the oil economies feel that. So Arslan, I don't understand. I have no idea how the director of the FDIC would know me. That's insane. Does he know my first name? That's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, and Isaiah, see, the thing is, I was saying all of that, and I still think it's true. The like cheap energy does absolutely affect the price of everything. So if the price of energy goes down, yes, that was that was with the current administration. I don't know what to expect with this administration. I really don't. I have no clue. I don't know what Trump is going to do. I don't know what Musk is going to do. It's gravity has kind of stopped working. So I'm trying to see what's going to happen. So that's, what if we have hyperinflation? I mean, like, what if we have crazy amounts of inflation because of reckless policy, and then the price of energy goes up? Another question. If China is basically spiraling down, then with that logic, they can't afford to lose American business and they'll be forced to renegotiate. Also, this question. No, you're right. I mean, that the thing is, China may actually be like, okay, fine, you want to give us these unreasonable tariffs, we will start, making the products that you need from us very difficult. They might start really putting a lot of pressure on Taiwan. They may start giving Russia hundreds of billions of dollars of aid. There's a lot of retaliation that China can do that would harm every American's wallet and the world if we actually try to implement something as devastating as a 60% tariff. And the thing is too that like China, the CCP is totally fine making their people suffer. They don't care. Like the CCP is totally fine putting strenuous economic hardships on the population. And the people will have no choice. And did you guys see my post about the app I use, TradingView? And I'm not saying I don't want you guys to sign up for it or anything, but I mentioned the debt because that is such a crushing issue for a lot of people. People say like, "Oh my gosh, our debt is $35 trillion. It's never been this high. 35 trillion is such a big number. Our economy is going to collapse." But these people have no idea what scale they're talking about. They just think $35 trillion and that's a big deal, but they don't understand $35 trillion compared to what? There's always. Oh, Aslan. No, I didn't. Aslan, I didn't skip you. I didn't see any questions. Can you type your question again? I saw like the last message I see from you is that you had an accounting trip to the FDIC. You talked to the director at Chicago. He knows me. And then the last thing you wrote was the link works. So please let me know what you wanted to say. I don't know if my yeah. Yeah, I have my filter on everything. My filter is allowing all messages. Show most messages with potential spam remove. Show every message. Yeah, so I'm allowed to see every message, including spam. So just let me know what happened. And whatever question I don't get to, Aslan, ask me on my Patreon and I'll do it. Do we have modern day monopolies? And if so, do you see them ever getting busted again? Oh, of course we have modern day monopolies. But I'm really curious about Aslan. I don't know why his question couldn't go through. Did anyone see Aslan's question? I don't see it anywhere. So here's the thing. Do we have modern day? I mean, yeah, sure. Like we have modern day monopolies. I mean, look at Apple. you know, I mean, like when it comes to the smartphone market, I mean, I know there are other options, but Apple is kind of the big dominator. We see monopolistic practices with a lot of medications. You know what I mean? Like there are certain companies that I wish I wish I knew. Like I guess like Merck and why can't I think of other big pharma companies? That they have the drug and they have a monopoly on it and nobody can make anything like it for like 10 to 15 or maybe 10 years. And then it takes that long for something generic to come and it's much cheaper. But when they have the monopoly, they skyrocket the prices of everything. Do them Yeah, absolutely. The monopolies don't get busted because of lobbyists, sure. And not just that, it's like these monopolies are the super PACs. So they're paying millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars a year probably to ensure that the politicians they want to get elected are elected. How can Russia still afford war in Ukraine? China. China is supplying between 60 to 80% of all of Russia's like equipment needs and financial needs. But Aslan, where are you? Let's see. Remove Aslan. Where is he? Here. There. Aslan, I made you one of my moderators, okay? You're a standard moderator for now. You don't have to do it for anything. I just want to see if I can get you. So can you try again, Aslan? Because I don't like, hey guys, can you send a message to Aslan, see if he can hear me? It seems ironic. The right believes in a free economy, but minimal government intervention. But capitalism doesn't work in its intended way with these gigantic. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. That like unfettered capitalism leads to monopolies, and then the monopolies can be a threat to the government, or can actually take power over the government. That's why the only thing that can really mitigate capitalism, which is something that needs to happen, is by having a large and educated and active voting populace to vote in a government that fulfills the wish of the people. How can they do that with their economy suffering, and how long can they do that? Look, just like China, Russia can make its people suffer for a very long time, and the Russian people are used to it. They're not as spoiled as Americans. Yeah, I don't see Aslan. It was a school trip. You asked a bunch of questions and so on. We talked about Silicon Valley, and he was like, there's one guy on TikTok, GeoHussar. What? Oh my gosh, Aslan. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'm getting emotional. I'm so proud. I feel so proud of myself. I usually don't. Oh, I can't wait to tell my kids. I can't wait to tell my sister and my wife, my friends. They won't believe it. Actually, they will. But wow. Mm, wow. Thank you very much, Aslan. That made my day. Do I think the left will ever have a pipeline similar to the right? Uh, no, because the extreme left it's too. I feel like it's too new and anti-establishment. I don't see it. Chicago office. He's also scared of tariffs. That's incredible, Aslan. What did I use to learn about economics? Well, mathematics. My major in college was mathematics. It was actually my worst subject. I barely graduated high school because I kept having like a 70 or 71 average in math. And I used to have nightmares in my 20s about having to take I was like, it was graduating high school, but I had to take one last pre-calculus final, and I didn't study for it. Like, I had nightmares about math. And then when I decided to go back to school at 29, I just started learning about third grade math and then fourth grade math, like before I went to school, and then fifth grade and sixth grade and eighth grade math. And then before I knew it, I was understanding everything. And then before I knew it, I was like acing algebra, and then I aced pre-calculus. And then I told my wife, if I ace calculus, I'm going to major in mathematics. And I did. And so I double majored. I double majored. I got a degree in economics, a degree in mathematics, and I graduated magna cum laude as a mathematics major. And my family still talks about it. They're like, how could someone who people thought was special, they thought I was special needs when it came to mathematics, I graduated near the top of my class as a math major, and I've tutored about maybe 1,000 people in math, people who are like hopelessly bad at it. So mathematics, of course, economics, but I use an app called TradingView. Um, yeah, that's it. You start from scratch. Go back to like eighth grade math, Isaiah, and you can really do something. And but so then I use the math, and then I use an app called TradingView.com. It's there's a free version, so just download the app, get the free version because you get all these metrics, and I look at these metrics every day. And if you do get if you want to pay for a subscription, please use my link. It's on my link tree. I get $15, and you get like $15 off. Oh, Aslan, my day was great. My day's even better now because of what you told me. You just learned what equity is today. It's a simple concept. You've always had trouble wrapping your head around it. Equity is not liquid by definition. Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, like, if we're talking about like home equity, like let's say your house is worth $1 million and you've paid off 800,000 in equity. That means that's what you own. That's what you actually own in the house. And with that equity, you can take loans against it, right? It's not liquid. I guess it's not liquid. It's an asset, but I wouldn't call it a liquid asset. But I don't know. I wish I could tell you the definite answer, but I don't. I don't think it is. I don't. Currently relearning Algebra 2, and do you have a code that I could use? A code? Oh yeah, I have a code. Okay, good. Algebra 2. Oh, I used to be a math tutor. And Algebra 2, that was my jam. I haven't tutored it in a while, but it was a lot of fun. I loved algebra. All right. Oh, I was wondering why there's only 6 people on my life, but it's Friday night. People are partying. You guys, you're you're hardcore. Hey, I have another question for you guys. I want to post more content onto my Patreon, and I want to I guess it'll be free for tier it'll be free for like tier 1, like people pay $5 a month. And then it'll be for sale for everything else. Is charging $5.50 for that content okay? Is that too expensive? Is that too cheap? I want to know what the price, is that a reasonable price for informative content? Oh, Aslan, I'm honored. I'm honored by what you told me. I can't believe it. That really makes my day. You know. Really, that's something. But anyway, just let me know. Is that a good? Depending on what the information educates us. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, yeah, I think it's very reasonable price depending on how often you'll do the live stream. Oh, the live stream will be often. At least, yeah, like twice, at least twice a week for everybody, and then once a week for once a week for tier 0. I am gonna try to do it. Actually, no, 3 times a week. I think 3 times a week at the very least. And how valuable we think it is. Yes, of course, Isaiah. Yeah, but $5 isn't horrible. Okay, good. Well, yeah, that's true. And I like there's some other content where I looked. Yeah, there's some old content that I think is very educational and informative, but I wouldn't charge $5. I think like I think I would charge 3, but they're like 3 3-minute videos, and they're like basic explanations of things. But that would just be for that, like it would be like $3 or something for if you're tier 1, but if you're tier 2, it would all be free. S&P broke a record. Yeah, it's why are they rising? I have look. I mean, if I were a very risky person, and let's say I had $100,000, if I had $100,000, I would put like let's say 15,000 into the S&P or things that were rising, just in case just in case things do really go up very, very high, and then I can cash out if I look at certain metrics and see, okay, we're near a top. Because then if it does crash, I've lost maybe, let's say it crashes down to like 50% or 60%. Okay, I haven't lost everything. 15,000, 7,500 becomes $6,000. That's fine. I still have $85,000 of liquidity. I add that with the $6,000. I still have $91,000 of liquidity. I took a $9,000 risk. That was 9% of my total holdings. Great, that's fine. So I think FOMO is one of the most deadly things you could do as an investor. And I had some FOMO in the crypto bull run, and it cost me some of my profit. Now, why are they rising? Because they're expecting corporate tax breaks. They're expecting very generous corporate tax breaks. They know that the wealthy are going to keep on being wealthy. The corporations will still manage to do very well. And I think and I've heard a lot of financial people say this. There's going to be a huge jump in the stock market, a huge melt your face off rally, and then a horrendous crash. That's not everyone is saying that, but but that's what I've been hearing for actually 2 years. Not just with Trump, but just if we have like too generous interest rates, or if Donald Trump gets elected, we would have a melt your face off rally, but then that would eventually correct hard. But the people at the very top have a ton of money. They sold at the top. Everyone else suffers. Do I think the economy and history go hand in hand? You feel like my videos talk as much about current events? Yeah. I don't have time. I don't have time to create a history channel. That's why I just cover everything I can on my page. And right now I'm just talking a lot about the economy because I want to get people aware. I want to teach people whatever I can, as long as I'm not a financial advisor. And I also just want to know people what instruments are out there, and then I want them to know what creators I think would be good guides for it. And if anything bad does happen, at least I put the messages out there to help. You heard somewhere that the U.S. has the most potential when it comes to mining. Oh, absolutely. Yes. We don't just have vast deposits of all the rare earth minerals that we're getting from China. We let China ruin their land by getting the rare earths. But we have something called a process that was discovered last year. Well, not discovered, I guess, invented, called flash jewel heating, where we can actually get these rare earth minerals from coal waste. So just burning coal. Imagine the millions of tons we have of burnt coal ash that now can just be used to extract rare earths. How to be prepared for a crash as a college student? Just like anyone else, whatever money you're making, set aside 10%. Every time you get paid, if it's weekly, monthly, set aside 10%. You put that somewhere. I maybe even, you could put it in the highest interest savings account you can. Just no matter what, automatically deduct it. Okay, you just do that, and let that go. But also, while you're saving that 10% or 15%, however much you can, you then you make a list and you go over everything that you need to not die. And I literally mean that. I mean not die. You need food, you need water, you need shelter, you need some clothes. But what comforts can you just completely cut out? And then do that. And then you just put more of that money from the cutout comforts into your bank account. And then once you have a certain amount of money where you can live for a few months, where you can meet your expenses for a few months without having a job, then maybe you start taking that money that you allocated, like let's say 15%, and maybe it's 20% now because you've gotten good at it. Then 10% goes into a savings account, and then the other 10% you would put into a very conservative investment portfolio. But just anything, and then you also have to have the mentality. Whenever you're going to make any purchase for anything, even if it's a cup of coffee, be like, do I really need this cup of coffee? Like, this $3 can go somewhere. Like, perfect example. There are certain assets I could purchase for right now 12 cents. And I can purchase 25 of these assets for $3. And I'd be like, do I really want this $3 to go towards my coffee? Or do I want to buy 25 of these assets, which I think in a year will go up in value 800%. Let's say we frack a ton and we start mining these deposits. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You're absolutely right, Isis. All we have to do, okay. Perfect example, it's just with our oil industry. We were a net importer. We didn't export oil for decades. We were completely dependent on the Middle East, the Persian Gulf, Russia, Mexico, and Canada for our oil. All right, and then all of a sudden, like, and that was the case until the early 2000s. And the Middle East was, OPEC was always like, we can always do whatever we want to you, and we could just turn the screws, and you're a little bitch. And then the shale boom happens. Finally, the technology to extract oil from shale, and also just wells that were too deep to drill, like for the right amount of money. All of that technology became very cheap, and then we have a resurgence. We are producing more oil than we ever have. We're producing more oil than any other country ever has. We're exporting more oil than we ever have too. Do I see the U.S. ever combining our currency with, say, Canada at a given point? No, I don't see that. No, no, because the U.S. dollar is its own entity. The U.S. dollar, the liquidity provided that the U.S. dollar provides the world, it's larger than the euro and every other currency combined. We have about 61% of all of the world's liquidity. The US dollar, 61% of the entire world's liquidity, and the rest of the world, 39%. So there would be no reason for us to do that with like Canada or Mexico, because the US dollar has to be beholden to the US government. What is the highest amount of profit I made? I won't say money, but I'll say this season, 800% on one investment, but it wasn't much money. But it's fine. Okay, actually, I will talk about this. I will talk about a little bit of money. I invested in this one cryptocurrency. I still do have some. It's called AMP, AMP, and it reached a tenth of a penny, and I just started putting $20 into it almost every day, because I'm like, okay, I know what platform this is. I this token is connected to 41,000 businesses in on North America. So I'm like, okay, even if it goes back to a penny, I make a 10x, and I can wait. And I just kept doing it, and then before I knew it, I had maybe a couple $100 invested into it, maybe 250, and then it went very quickly to 1.9 cents, and I sold it at 1.8 cents. So it went up 18 times. So when it went from like $250 to like 4,000 something. So I sold some. What would reverting back to gold standard do to the world? Oh, in the world, like, I mean, in America, it would destroy the dollar. Like, any country that's backed by gold, any major currency, like let's say China wanted to make or the BRICS nations, if they wanted to make a gold-backed currency, the world financial markets would do to the U.S. would do to BRICS what was done to the U.S. in the 1970s. The U.S. went off the gold standard because foreign investors, and also, financial, like the financial markets, they started purchasing like billions of dollars of just US dollars, and then they would immediately trade those dollars in for gold. So now they have gold. And guess, who these people, they have the gold. You know who doesn't now have the gold? The US government. So the US government's like, hey, we need this gold to back our dollar. If we keep depleting our gold, then we're gonna have hyperinflation, because our currency will be worth nothing because we don't have the gold to back it up. So we went off the gold standard. That's why we did it. And if the BRICS issued a gold-backed currency, that's exactly what America and the European traders, and probably Japan and Australia, they would just buy enough of the gold to just crash that currency. Forex, no, no, no. I I don't play around with forex right now. I watch it, but I don't play with it. Besides trading view, what do I use to trade and research crypto stocks? Man, I've done all my research. I don't do it anymore. But you know, when I was, yeah, Aslan, it was pretty cool. Now, when I was researching crypto, believe it or not, this is when TikTok was still pretty clean. When crypto TikTok was clean, I would just listen to people give explanations on the basics of like blockchain, Bitcoin, smart contracts, Ethereum, and I would just listen to these videos on repeat for like 20, 10 times, 20 times sometimes, just till I got everything they were saying because I wanted to know how it all worked. worked. And then, I would go on YouTube's and just listen to people give explanations about crypto, what it is. But then while I was listening to these explanations, I was also looking at the charts. I was looking at TradingView. I was looking at patterns, and I was looking also at how to interpret the charts and also how to interpret the indicators to use, like, the MACD and the RSI and very basic. I ended up, I used the Bollinger Bands, I used Ichimoku clouds, I did all that stuff. Now I don't use anything. Now I just look at the candlestick patterns of whatever I want to trade or invest in, and I get a feeling, and I make my move. I haven't been able to for a couple months, but if I can get my TikTok revenue back to where it was, then I'll start doing that again. I think it's going to take some time, but you guys have helped so much, so and TikTok reinstated me, so I'm gonna get there. You know. All right. Do you guys have any more questions for me? You want to stay and ask more questions, but you have to go to work? Oh, of course, Isaiah. This is great. Guys, look, I will probably, I'm going to try to be on tomorrow. I'm going to try. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do it, but, yeah. But just in case, I'll let you guys know if I can't. And I'm going to keep trying to, I'm going to keep trying to do these live streams again, at least 3 times a week for tier 1 and above, and then once a week at least for tier 0. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Aslan, thank you so much for telling me about the FDIC guy at Chicago. That blows my mind. I can't wait to tell my family. Thank you. All right. All right, everybody. Y'all take care. And thank you for patronizing me. Thank you for supporting me with everything.